What's up, y'all? I'm back. It's been a few weeks. I've been working on this mustache. It's No Shave November. I hope the males that are watching this are partaking. I hope not the females, but we got a DIY wine rack for you in this video. The holidays are coming up. If you're anything like me, you procrastinate, right? You're always thinking, oh, what can I make for family, friends? I got it right here. 5 bottles of wine and 4 glasses, and it hangs on the wall. Too easy. I'm gonna walk you through how I built it, how you can customize it, and hopefully fulfill all your last minute holiday gift needs. So this video is sponsored by Duke Cannon, right? They make some awesome products. I've been putting this beard balm on this mustache for the last few weeks. It's outstanding. My wife is actually letting me keep the mustache because it's not all scraggly and it smells nice. So Duke Cannon products, excellent. We all smell, get dirty in the shop. Do yourself a favor and do your loved ones a favor. Use good hygiene products, right? Go check out Duke Cannon. The link to their website will be in the video description. You can also find their products at your local retailers like Target. Give them a look, give them a try, good stuff. So let's get right into the video. Like most projects, this one starts off with the miter saw, cutting all my boards down the rough length. Yes, I know this isn't the safest way to do this, but I don't have a sliding miter saw, and I do it all the time. So I just reference my cut list to make sure that I can utilize the pieces of wood that I have the best way that I can, avoiding large knots like the one you see here. Once I had my boards cut to rough length, I took them over to the table saw and jointed one edge using my joiner jig. I'll leave a card to that video. And then I ripped everything down to their final widths. And again, I'll leave these cuts in the video description for you guys. Once everything was ripped down to its final width, I took it back over to the miter saw and cut them to their final lengths. So all of the boards are now cut to their correct dimensions. At the beginning, I leave everything at least in half an inch long. That way I can come and get the exact cut after ripping it down on the table saw. Now a couple of these, the dividers for the wine bottle up top on that shelf, I'm gonna plane these down just so that they're a little thinner to about 5/8 of an inch. And then the 2 4-inch by 22-inch long pieces that are going to be the backer boards, I'm going to plane these down just so that they're nice and even, because they're going to be going up against the wall, so I can't have them being warped at all. But for the rest of the pieces, I'm just going to give it a light sanding, keeping some of the saw marks on the pieces so that it's a little bit more rustic. So that's what I'm going to get to now. So I took a quick break from sanding, did some computer work, whipped up my design. Now I have the J-Tech laser rolling. So I've talked about that in a previous video of mine, the J-Tech laser. At the end, I'll show y'all what it looks like. So hopefully that'll help you out if you're thinking about purchasing one of those. But the front, that 8x22 piece, if you want to stain it, you can stain it. You want to put a stencil and use paint or stain to lay out a word or a phrase or a name, you can do that. So the options, you got a lot of them for that front panel, and it's nice and big, so you can put a bunch of stuff on there. So I'm gonna get back to sanding. Again, I'm just leaving it pretty rough here. You can see the saw marks. So this is, I haven't sanded yet, but at first it looks all rough like that, and then it cleans it up a little bit but leaves these saw marks, so it'll have that nice rustic feel to it. So I'm gonna keep doing that, and then while the laser's rolling, I'm gonna cut the slots in the bottom shelf for the wine glasses, because that is gonna take a while. It's a big file, but we'll get back to it. Okay, so I'm about to take this bottom piece. This is where the wine glasses will fit into their slots. Before I take it to the drill press, I just want to explain the layout. Okay, so this is a 22-inch long board. So you're gonna mark 4 lines across the top of this board. They're gonna be at 2 3/4 of an inch, 8 1/4 of an inch, 13 3/4, and 19 1/4. So that'll give you 4 lines running across your board, and those are gonna be the center of each slot. Now each slot is going to be 1 inch wide, so from those 4 lines, mark a 1/2 inch on either side of the line on the front here, okay? Then from the front of the board going back, you want to mark a little cross on those 4 long lines at 3 inches. So this is going to give you enough clearance to set the glass in there, and then the diameter of the base of your typical wine glass is going to have enough room from front to back and side to side so that it's not hitting another glass, it's not hitting the end caps. So that is just the layout. Again, it'll be more clear after I get done on the drill press, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The work at the drill press is done. Got my 4 holes. I used a 1 inch diameter Forstner bit. If you don't have a drill press, no problem. Just load that bit up into your standard drill. Make sure you clamp your workpiece down and keep the drill as straight as possible as you're plunging into the wood. And you can get it done. It's not hard. So each slot is going to be 1 inch. So I have them marked out here. I just made it a little bit darker. So now I'm just going to clamp this to the workpiece, take the jigsaw, cut those lines to complete the grooves. So on these end caps, there's going to be a slight taper running towards the front. So I measured up 9 inches from the bottom, and from the back going forward, I measured 3 inches. Now I'm just going to use a piece of sandpaper as a reference guide to draw out my curve. It's not going to be too crazy, but it'll give me a nice little taper. And that is what I'm going to use to cut it out with the jigsaw, and I'm just going to mirror this onto the other one. So the laser is just about finished up doing its thing, so I'm going to start assembling this. I'm going to mainly just use wood glue and some finish nails, and the finish nails honestly are just going to be for looks. They're not really going to be doing anything. The wood glue is going to hold most of this together. It's going to be up on the wall. It's not going to have a lot of weight on it, so there's no need to fill it with a gazillion screws. So to start assembling, I'm going to take the base with all the slots cut out, and then these are just offcut pieces from trimming out the end caps. So I'm just going to place these down as spacers. Then I have my 5x20 board. I'm just going to place that on top, put the end caps on. I'm going to put a little glue and clamp them together. That easy. As I started gluing up the wine rack, the front panel finished on the laser. So got a couple state flowers, a last name, wedding date, good stuff. Now this is the 8x22 piece. Lots of room for customization. So if you want to throw stencils on here, paint it, do whatever you want, you can. So this is going to attach to the front. I'm going to use some wood glue, and I'm just going to throw some finish nails in here, more for aesthetics. The wood glue by itself is going to be plenty. I could do a bunch of screws and countersink them and plug them, but this is like a DIY project. So, you know, just a couple of 1.5 inch finish nails. They're super small, but just so you can see some nails, I think it'll be a good touch. So that's what I'm gonna do now. This thing's almost done. So once the front and the side is all secure, it's time to put the back panels on. Now I'm making a small adjustment from my original design because I had an issue with my bandsaw, so I wasn't able to resaw these pieces the way that I wanted to. So originally I wanted these to be 8 by 5 to fit in here and span the full length of that front panel. Well, I couldn't do that, so I had to make an adjustment. These are now 6 by 5. So the original plan was to have my two 4-inch strips, one sit on the bottom, one sit on the top, but it doesn't give me enough coverage on these panels to secure them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the bottom panel and line it up flush with this bottom shelf, which is where the wine bottles sit. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put this one right on top, secure that down, and I'll put some keyholes in this top board so that you can hang it on the wall. Now, if you wanted to just do like one 8-inch wide board here, you could, or like I said, you could do the full panel. Or if these were the original 8 by 5, putting this up top would get enough coverage so you could secure these spacers from the top and the bottom without any issues. So I just had to make that adjustment on the fly, not a big deal. I'm just gonna roll with it. I threw some keyholes into the back of this workpiece using a little jig that I made specifically for my small trim router, and I use a 3/8 of an inch keyhole bit to get it done. Super easy. You could also use French cleats to mount this or alligator clips. Really, they'll all work. So originally the plan was to keep this light, but the customer wanted it to be a little darker. So I used some Minwax dark walnut stain. I tried to keep it light because I didn't want to cover up all the laser engraving, but it kind of covered the engraving. So I had to go back and go over the engraving with some white stain. It actually worked really well. I lost a little bit of detail in the flowers, but the name still turned out great, and you can still see the flowers when you're close up. So if you're lasering it, don't stain it dark. Alright y'all, that is a wrap on the DIY hanging wine rack. Again, 5 bottles of wine, 4 glasses on the bottom, and this is just a blueprint, right? You guys can run with this, customize it however you want, make it to really whatever dimension you want to use, a different hanging method, maybe a French cleat on the back. It'll all work. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel. More DIY videos, build videos, just more good stuff on the way. Give me a thumbs up, comment below with any general questions, or just if you feel like saying something, put them down there. I'll get back to you. And just again, huge shout out and thank you to Duke Cannon for sponsoring this video. Great stocking stuffer ideas. If y'all don't like to smell nice, you're crazy. So go to Duke Cannon, check out their products, give them a try. Thank you guys so much. I will see you on the next one.